What's going on? It's Kyle from K Capital. It's about 7 o'clock on the 28th of October. An awesome day for us across the board. In the aggregate, we finished, I think, roughly up 25% today across our alerts. Pretty kick ass day. Congrats to those who are in any of these positions, to be honest. First, let's go over the general indices, if we will. The Dow, as I said before, is definitely trading in a bullish pattern for the short term, but I'm going to expect a pullback to the 200 EMA. Frankly, when you rally from 16,120 all the way up to 17,580, it's only a matter of time before you're going to pull back, and rightfully so. That said, we've crossed through the 200 EMA here, which is pretty awesome. Couple that with the fact that we have a nice EMA cross here, and obviously we're in a nice, uptrend, or at least a continuation of the uptrend from the last year and a half. So I think this is going to continue. But like I said, I think I expect some pullback here. Today we obviously finished up, so this is a futures contract, so it's a day behind. But if we actually want to take a look at the SPX, to look at the S&P 500, you can kind of see a similar pattern here in terms of the Russell as well as the Dow. So I think this is going to be a nice level of support for the time being. But we're going to really focus on our alerts, but just use the general macro trend as kind of our indicator of which way the market's going. And obviously, we don't want to really swim upriver. We want to trade with that. So with that, let's get to our specific alerts. EMKR, I'm still sitting at a loss here. We got in right over 7 about 3 to 4 weeks ago, but today traded very nicely. One thing that has always caught my eye here is with our pop, stop, and go pattern. We saw a nice pop here. We waited for the midpoint and we went long. I think if at some point this is going to trade higher. Fundamentally, this company has really seen a significant increase in their EBITDA as well as their sales. I think this is the type of story that it's basically going to rally hard, and it's a type of turnaround story that I think once we're in this, as long as we hold our support level, I think we're going to see 10 by the end of the year, which would be about 30 to 40% upside to where we entered. So positive news story here as we finish roughly up 5% on the day. Let's go over to Jack real quick. Jack, as you're well aware, is a story stock that we got stopped out of earlier this week, but we re-entered yesterday in the 7.7s. Saw a rally all the way up to 850 and break through the 200 EMA. Obviously, right now, though, we're seeing this act as significant resistance, which rightfully so it should. What you'll typically see is that levels of support, like the 200-day moving average, once they're broken, they're going to flip and turn into resistance, and that's exactly what's going on now. That said, I think I'm very confident in the earnings here for the long term. I think the majority of price targets are in the 10 to 11 range, and they're that way for a reason. So again, I think this is a nice stock in terms of the recovery here. After every earnings call over the last couple quarters, the stock has completely tanked and then slowly built its way back up over the last couple weeks after that earnings call. So really, you can just take a look at any call. It dropped here, slowly went back up, dropped before the call here, dropped after the call here, slowly went back up. And you can probably see that trend if you went back for a few, if not several earnings calls. So let's keep going here. CRWN. Crown is an absolute monster for us. We're up 25% right now on this. We went long in the 4.8 to 4.70 range back in September. And obviously this is traded perfectly for us all along with a gigantic breakout here to where we locked in 25% and sold half our position today. Really, in this market, you can't ask for a better trade. It's a perfect swing trade for us. 25% in less than 5 weeks when the market's pretty shitty is awesome. So let's take that. Congrats to all you guys who are in this. Let's keep going and focus on the rest of our positions here. So MGPI, beautiful play here in terms of the 200-day moving average, which is one of the main reasons we went long in this. Saw a nice bounce today off of the 20 EMA. Again, shot up 4% here on high volume. So I definitely expect this to trade higher. If we want to zoom out real quickly and take a look at the overall trend, obviously you can see that once you hit the 200-day moving average in this position, the stock usually takes off. And obviously over the last couple of weeks, it's just bounced off of this 4 or 5 times. I think this definitely tests 19 to 22 through the end of the year. Again, this is something that I think we're going to be, holding patiently and just let it play out because honestly, it's going to be a monster along with ACXM. So ACXM honestly is a beauty. I chuckle just because this chart is perfect. Um, it's coming out of a nice channel here over the last couple of years. If you actually wanted to even highlight that, you can see that, this level of resistance here has been pretty significant. Once we broke that, we traded across the 200-day moving average. We came back, we bounced off of that several times. And now, honestly, it's just the sky's the limit here. And I think the initial target of 25 to 26 is pretty ideal for this position. We got in, I think, at an average price in the 2080 range, and then we added to it because we want to add to our winners. And I think this is a story stock that's definitely going to be a winner. I think it's going to hit 25, and we'll just average in as the time goes. So congrats to you guys who have been in this. It's definitely a great position, something I think we definitely can continue with for the time being, and just add to this. So congrats to all you guys who are in this position. Next, let's take a look at PENN, PE, or PNN. Another similar story stock to ACXM. This position, again, broke through the 200-day moving average, traded along that trend, and came back and really found a nice level of support here. The one thing that is concerning is it's slightly mimicking a head and shoulders pattern. If we want to zoom in quickly, what we can see is, it's not exactly the type of pattern, but you have a left shoulder here, a long-term head here, and technically a right shoulder here. I want to see more volume come into this over the next couple days, and then I want to see the EMAs actually cross and point upward so we can actually continue this trend and rally up. So right now I think we're sitting on about $1 return on the stock. We've got in right a little over 17. So again, it's still a winner. It's just something that I think is going to take a little bit to play out. It's definitely mimicking the pattern back in, I think, early April to late March, to where the EMAs are going to consolidate and then hopefully reverse and trade back higher. So another winner for us. Let's just be patient with it and see if we can test 20 over the next couple weeks. Moving on to SD. SD is one of our fundamental plays. Again, we've been in this since April, and we've averaged in twice. So obviously this is a loser for us, but I think at the end of the day, it's something that, it's a call option on crude. I know I've said that 1,000 times at this point. But that said, there's a few things I'm looking at right now in terms of either liquidating our actual position and going long on some call options, specifically the March 2016 calls. But I'm not sure if I want to do that yet because I got to kind of evaluate the risk reward. It may be advantageous to liquidate the position or keep the position and add to the potential long, taking advantage of those calls. It will obviously monetize a few things in the sense that it will give us additional upside in terms of any type of break. We use a strike price of 50 to $1. So I'm looking at that. Keep that in the back of your minds for potential, long entry using some call options. If we do execute that, I'll obviously go into detail what we're trying to do here. But today was a decent day, saw roughly up 15%. But again, we have a long way to go here in terms of seeing a bounce back to 1. So let's just be patient with it and see how the earnings call, I think, in the next week and a half to 2 weeks goes. I mean, the really focus is going to be on production here. So let's take a look and see exactly what happens. But overall, I think it's something to where, we just have to be patient with. But that said, that's our current open portfolio of what we have. I think the main focus, again, going to tomorrow is our watch list, which I'll elaborate more on the dashboard tonight. So if you have any questions with that, please shoot me an email. If not, have a great night, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.